Hey guys, welcome back to another Spy Family Sunday. I just want to wish everybody a happy new year. We are finally in 2024 and I'm looking forward to continuing my reviews on Spy Family because I absolutely love this series. So in this chapter we did find out that Anya did pass at least one of her subjects. She passed classical languages. She got the second highest score of an 89, which means that she's going to get a Stella, which is awesome. But she also got a 24 in math, which earned her a Tanitra's Bowl. Damien ended up getting a Stella. Bill Watkins ended up getting a Stella. And so they ended up getting a few Stellas. And so Anya is just as shocked by this as well. I mean, she had the confidence that she was going to do well in classical languages. You know, she goes home. Of course, Yor is just absolutely thrilled for her. And at first, Lloyd looks a little, I guess he looks a little dazed by it, I would say. And he's like, you know what? I'm not going to scold her for it. She earned a Stella through academic achievement, and this is wonderful. She's going to get her Stella. Lloyd is happy. She goes next door to talk to Barbara and Sigmund. I love the grandparents so much. They're thrilled for her as well. And Sigmund is like, see, now you understand the rewards that come with working hard. The Stella award ceremony is the next day, and so Lloyd is telling Anya, hey, you know, we got to be up early for the award. And so he's getting her tucked into bed. And I found this part of the chapter interesting because Lloyd sort of hesitates and he's looking at Anya and he's like, hey, Anya, do you remember when you were younger, were you ever in an environment in which you had to utilize classical languages? Anya's like, I don't really remember much from the past. And Lloyd sort of drops it and he's like, okay, you know, never mind, don't worry about it, it's not important. But obviously when it comes to Lloyd, it's his eyes that tell the full story. So there's something there about classical languages and the fact that Anya is doing so well in that subject despite her studying. There's something about it that Lloyd is still trying to investigate, so we'll have to see where that goes. And so we flash to the next day for the award ceremony. Anya's getting her Stella. Of course, Damien likes to play it off to where he's like, well, you know, I'm a Desmond, so of course this is expected of me, but he's just as stoked as the other kids. Everybody gets their Stellas, they're leaving, and Damien sort of goes off by himself, and Ewan and Emil are like, hey, boss man, are you coming? And Damien's like, you know, I told you guys to just go off on your own. And then we see that during the award ceremony, we finally get a glimpse of Demetrius Desmond. And how best to describe Demetrius? So first of all, it's revealed that he is in middle school, and it is also revealed that he got Stellas in like 6 subjects, math, physics, languages, foreign languages. He's just picking up Stellas like it's just nobody's business, just racking them up. And his classmates look a little, I mean, some of them look jealous, some of them look sort of resentful, some of them are in awe of him, but I'm getting the impression that this is nothing new. He's the one that's like always getting the Stellas. And he's walking down the steps and we finally see his face and he looks pretty vampirish, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he looks like a spitting image of his father, just blank eyes, no emotion, no expression, like the world just fades away from his view and all he can see is like where he's moving forward. And so Damien sort of, I wouldn't say meets him at the bottom of the stairs, but he is like, hey, Demetrius. And, you know, his brother's like, what do you want? And everything is very matter of fact with Demetrius, it seems. Of course, Damien's like, I heard you got Stellas and a bunch of subjects. I also got a Stella. I was wondering if, you know, you could tell Father about that maybe, or if Father has said anything. Demetrius sort of looks, I wouldn't say taken aback by the question, but he turns away and he's like, how would I know what Father thinks? Why are you under the impression that me and him spend a lot of time together? Damien is sort of surprised by that. He's like, do I not understand my brother's relationship to my father? Of course, Anya's very curious about this because she's like, oh, Super Saiyan boy, you know, and she tries reading his mind because she's under the impression like, if I read his mind, then I'll be a super genius. And so Anya tries reading his mind and it's just a bunch of blanks. There's nothing there. And at first she's surprised. She's like, am I too far away from him? What's going on? And so she moves a little bit closer and finally she's able to read his mind, and Demetrius is thinking to himself that he doesn't understand his own father, he doesn't understand people, he doesn't understand why Damien wants his father to know that he got a Stella Star. He's like, enough of this, who cares? Pondering is a waste of time. And so Demetrius is definitely a very odd person. He's pretty much over this entire conversation, and he's walking away, and Anya's trying to read his mind one last time, and it's just nothing but blanks. There's nothing there. He's like a robot. And, you know, Anya's thinking to herself, like, man, all of Damien's family members are like complete weirdos. It's funny because it's a very interesting contrast to Melinda, because Melinda had a bunch of chaotic thoughts where she was like, oh, I love my son, but like, oh, he's such a burden, and I wish this hadn't happened. Oh, but I love him, and like, I hate his father, and like, just a bunch of just up and down emotions coming from Melinda. Whereas with Demetrius, there's nothing there. He doesn't see the point in trivial conversation. It seems like he's very like goal oriented, and so everything else just doesn't matter to him. So yeah, I'm very curious to find out more about Demetrius, because that's very odd. It's almost like the whole family just has, like, outside of Damien so far, it seems like all of them have split personalities or some kind of personality disorder. And of course, I say that lightly. I'm not any kind of medical professional, but it's just very odd because they all seem to lack some sort of basic social cues. I just think it's interesting. And so once Demetrius leaves, you know, Damien is sort of lost in thought about his perception of Demetrius's relationship with his father, because he's like, I learned that when Demetrius was little, my father never left his side, you know, and you get this panel of Demetrius studying and Desmond, you know, looking over him. There's Jeeves bringing some snacks. So, you know, there's definitely some mystery here in this family. So Anya goes home, and as soon as she walks through the door, Lloyd is like, hey, where's your Stella? You know, let's unpack it before you lose it. And Anya is basically mocking Demetrius. She has like the same face that he was wearing with no expression and no thoughts. And Lloyd's like, what's wrong? Hey, did you lose your Stella already? And, you know, Anya's like, I'm going to be like this. I have to be like this to be a super genius. And Lloyd's like, what does that mean? And Anya's like, I don't understand. And then Lloyd's like, I'm sorry? And then Anya's like, I don't understand. And the last panel of him he just looks completely done. And we get an update on the whole Stella and Demetrius Bolt situation, and again, it's 5 for 5. So love the chapter. I'm glad we got a conclusion to Anya's academics. I'm glad that she did get another Stella Star. Unfortunately, it does suck that she did get a Demetrius Bolt, but I mean, there's really nothing we can do about that situation. I do hope that in the future the Stella Stars start to outweigh the Demetrius Bolts. Obviously, we don't want her to get expelled. And so that's pretty much the end of the chapter. As far as what I think is going to happen next chapter, I say this all the time, it's really hard to predict. I don't know if Indo is moving into an Anya backstory or if he wants to move into a Desmond backstory. Either one would be awesome. At this point, I'm sort of leaning towards an Anya backstory just because of that conversation that Lloyd had with Anya before tucking her into bed. What was the relevance of that? I don't know where his mind was, and we have next to nothing on Anya's backstory. I think now would be a good time to really delve into what happened to her, how she was granted these powers, who are the people in charge, people above her, people that kept her in that facility. I'm getting curious about that now. I think we need some good character development for Anya, and we need some character insight into her backstory. So yeah, thank you again for listening to my review of Spy Family Chapter 93. Again, if you're enjoying the content here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, remember to be awesome and stay true.